I'd like to show you how to make a 5-gallon bucket. We're going to start by selecting a sketch plane. And on the sketch plane, I'm going to draw a circle, 10.5. I want to create the next sketch plane upwards so I can loft it. Because I don't exactly know what angle it is between the top and the bottom. I only know the dimensions. So my second plane is going to be offset from the top. The height of the bucket, 14.35 inches right up here. And on this plane I'm going to create my second circle referencing that center point with a diameter of 12.19. Now that I have my two shapes, I can loft between them. This is the basis of my bucket. So the next thing I'm going to do is create like the little handle space for my bucket. I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and kind of make my own dimensions. So there's a few ways I could do this. I could create a new plane and sketch a new circle that I extrude. I could draw a shape along the side that I revolve or sweep. That might be what I end up going with. So let's try that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new sketch on, let's say, the front plane. And I'm going to use or reference this left line here. And in order to get a lip of the bucket that is at the same angle, I'm going to use this offset button. And just go outwards however far I think that should stick out. Maybe like 3/4 of an inch. Just making that up. Okay, I'm going to add 2 lines. Oops, I wanted that to be straight. Let me try again. First line and second line. I'm going to make these 2 lines about, let's see what an inch apart looks like. Cool. And from the top of the bucket, I'll put them like 2 inches down. No? Oh, that's an angle measurement. Let's try that again. Delete. How about this distance instead? There you go, 2 inches down. Let's sweep this. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to sweep this shape along this path. There it is, creating a really nice rim of our bucket. I don't know if I'm perfectly satisfied with that, because I think a real bucket probably has like a little more of like an angle right here, and kind of like a little cutout-y bit over here where like the handle goes. Ooh. So I think I'm going to make like maybe like a little offset right here. It's not working very well. Maybe I'll just make them equal distances. This being like, maybe like 1/4 inch. And this being like 1/4 inch. Perfect. I'll trim this out. Looking good. Let's try sweeping that instead. There it goes. That looks way more like a bucket. From the side, you can see it has that nice little angle. From the bottom, it has that little indentation. As part of our requirements, I'm going to add a hole on each side of this so that the handle of the bucket can fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new plane that goes through this sketch that I did right here, this boy. So I'm going to create a new plane. I'm going to choose line and angle. So here's my line. And here's like the point I want it to go through. You can see that it's creating, or it should create. Oh, come on. Alright, I removed the point. Kept just the line, and you can see that it's creating right here a new plane through that spot. And that's where I want to draw this hole. Right on this surface. Right like right here. And this is going to be the hole for if there were a wire. This is where the wire would go. So I'm going to remove a 1/4 inch, I'm punching a hole into the side of the bucket. Just a little deeper than the thickness of the wall I made, so like 0.25 gives me an error. But 0.26 will allow me to create a hole. So here's my hole. And I can create a hole in the opposite side using the mirror button. Here's mirror. So I'm going to choose what I want to mirror, which is this part. Come on. The mirror plane. Right here. Things I want to mirror is this hole. Oh, I gotta say feature mirror, that's why. There we go. And you can see it creates a hole on the other side. So now I have 2 holes. Hole 1 and hole 2. Lastly, I'm going to shell this. So I'm going to click the shell button. I'll select the top of the bucket so it's open to the top. And I'll make it, let's say, 1/10 of an inch thick. Perfect. Awesome. So here's my bucket. Nice. Next I'm going to add a lid to my bucket, and this is where the rib is going to come in. So let's get going on that. I'm going to create a new part, studio, down here in the corner. Create part studio. And this is where I'm going to create my lid. So I want my lid to fit on top. So I might revolve this. There's many ways you could do this. I might revolve this. So I'm going to create a line whose length is the same length as the diameter of the top circle. And I'm going to line it up in the middle by clicking the left and the right. And, I'll click symmetric actually. Symmetric. The left, the right, and then the center plane. Lining that up in the center. I'm only going to use this left half of it, but I know that I want the thickness of my lid to be 1/10 of an inch, so I'm going to use the offset button and grab 1/10 of an inch right there. The next thing I want to add to my lid is a little bit of shape, especially on the lip. So I'm going to add down here a little downwards part. Maybe like 1/2 inch long, and over 1/10 of an inch, and up. Perfect, creating this like little lip shape. I'm going to draw a line right through the center as well, so that's where I'm going to revolve it. Like this stuff on the right here is of little importance. We can like trim that out. I might keep it there for reference actually. Alright, so if I were to just revolve this right now by clicking the 2 parts and then the revolve axis, you can see that it looks like a lid, but it doesn't have any of the like shape or features that we're going for. So I'm going to try and add a little bit of like the pattern that you might see in a real bucket. So a real bucket might have like a downward slope here. So if I go back to this sketch, what I want to do is at about this, maybe like over here somewhere, I'm going to go down a little bit, and then I want to create like a slope, like that. And then I'll offset that and create a second one, thickness of 0.1, just like the rest. And then I will want, yeah, just I guess like another little line here. I'll make the distance between these 0.1. And then I want to just extend this. Oh, extend. So it touches. Perfect. And then trim out what I don't want. Which is like this part. Oh, I did want that. I actually see how it's like filling in right here? This is the kind of shape we're going for. It looks like I might need to extend this a little longer. There it is. Move this up. Trim a little more. Okay. So now to me, I think when I revolve it, it's going to look a little more like a bucket. There you go. It has that like slant right there. And like that buckety shape. Perfect. So the next thing we have to add is our ribs. We want 30 ribs. So I'm going to draw one rib and I'm going to pattern it all the way around. So to create my rib, I'm going to create a new sketch on the same plane as my original revolve, which for me is the front plane. Viewing it from the side, I can kind of like hide my first part so I can see it a little better. I'm going to draw a sketch of the rib, starting here, going right about here, maybe, and then creating just like a small angle upwards. I'm not going to touch, I'm just going to like see how it could touch right here. I'm going to click that. And this is the rib that I'm going to make. Let me show my part again. And as I click the rib button, you can see it wants me to choose the profiles, which I will choose this guy and this guy. To extend it outwards, I'm going to click Extend Profile to Part. I can choose the thickness. So the thickness of a rib should be between 60 and 80% of the thickness of the wall. Since my wall thickness is 1/10 of an inch, I'm going to make it 0.1. Perfect. And then I am going to pattern this. So I'm going to click the circular pattern button. I'm going to pattern this feature, which is this rib, all around this axis, this circle. And I want 30 of them. Nice. There's the lid to my bucket. You know what I realized that I'm really just disappointed about is I just realized that I didn't make the bucket lid to fit on top of the bucket. I accidentally, remember I made this whole distance 12.19, which was the height of my bucket. So it's actually this distance is 12.99, and I need this distance right here on the inside to be 12.19. So I actually just have to scooch everything out just a little more. I have to make it an extra 1/10 of an inch thick on either side, which makes it 12.39. And I have to make sure this line is centered. this is messing everything up. There we go. Much better. Ooh, perfect. Now it'll fit. Alright, there we go. Lid to my bucket. Let's, we don't have to, but let's try it out in assembly to see if it fits. So I'm gonna insert my bucket, insert my lid. Ooh, this is exciting. I will pin or fix my bucket into place. And I'm just gonna fasten the bottom center to the top. Oh, look at that. There we go. Yeah. Looks like a bucket. Nice work, my dudes.